Hey, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Big Apple Hockey, where you notice we got 4 boxes. We'll get to that more in 1 second. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams, and I am joined by the final buzzer host, Mr. John Filkowski.
Phone rings. Hey, Artemi, it's Gary. Alexander Ovechkin can't make the All-Star game. What do you want to come in and join us, play a little puck? Gary, niet. I'm on the beach right now. Bye.
And, of course, the man who actually gets to watch a hockey game tonight, Mr. Anthony LaRocco.
Last night, too. They're playing some games finally. It's nice to see.
Well, the Rangers are going to be feeling that feeling of, hey, wait, when do we get to play hockey again? Very soon. And our special guest today from the Glove Drop, and I got you right there. Tara Fitzgerald. Tara,
what's up, everybody?
Why don't you say hello to everybody?
Real quick, just so we all are aware, the New York Rangers defeated the Florida Panthers last night without Adam Fox. Boom. That's all.
Boom. Yes. And actually, you know what? Let's just, before we even do our interview, let's do a quick Rangers recap for us. So it's exactly that. We're doing a little bit of a mid-season analysis, but also, guys, always check out the Final Buzzer with John Filkowski, the man that's right over there, and read his good, bad, and ugly reviews. The Rangers this week beat the Kraken and the Florida Panthers, but lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Henrik Lundqvist night, great night. A little bit of controversy at the end. More on that in a second. And Phil, we're going to start with you. What are your thoughts on Henrik Lundqvist night?
The ceremony itself was great. I was there. It was awesome. Yeah, awesome. I was in 226, and the screaming fans couldn't bring it down. The constant Zuccarello chants every time his face was flashed up on the screen. Just an amazing ceremony. So awesome. I got a bunch on video. I'll have to upload it at some point on here and be on the lookout for that. But the game itself, like, what was that? Like, I don't know what this team has going on with them right now, but there's this inability to play a full 60 minutes, and they think they could get by with 20, 30, maybe even 40 minutes if we're lucky, Ranger fans, of good hockey. And then the other part of it is just complete and utter crap. So we're sitting there watching a game that they get ahead 2-0, get an early lead, and they blow it. Big time again. So the 2-0 lead is now the Rangers' bugaboo, apparently. And yeah, it came back to bite them. And obviously the end, we'll talk about that in a little bit as well, because I think everybody wanted to put their heads to the wall, like the gift from Michael McDonald from Mad TV when he plays Stewie. So yeah. But
Tara, what were your thoughts on Lundqvist night?
I thought Lundqvist night was amazing. I think that was one of the most well put together retirements. I think it was absolutely across the board incredible. Absolutely deserved all of that respect. And then some. He is, of course, the king, and they were calling him the icon of the city as well, which I completely agree with. Love the fact that Zuccarello was there to, share that special moment with somebody who he played with for so long and somebody who he considers what would be one of his closest friends and mentors in hockey. Didn't love Zuccarello scoring. I'll tell you that for free. Not a good look. Would have preferred him to be still a Ranger. But as far as the retirement ceremony went, I thought it was great. As far as the game went, thinking a little differently on that one. And like you just said, it's a difficult playing a full 60. We're seeing a lot of starting hard, leaving the arena after the first period. It's incredibly frustrating. I know it's like the dog days of hockey right now, leading up to the All-Star break. You see a lot of teams struggling, and the Rangers are one of them. Of course, having Adam Fox being out, which I thought was a day-to-day. He's on the IR now. You got the D pairs a little messed up. They're not really in sync, but my issues with the whole game was the effort. you can't just put the effort down and walk away. They hand the momentum over to the other team. We saw them do it with Columbus Blue Jackets. They did it again, and they almost did it again with the Kraken. But fortunately, it seems that coming into the game last night, they were playing the kind of hockey that they needed to play. And hopefully after this All-Star break, we'll see a lot less of playing down to the level of the other team and actually playing the hockey. I think Shesterkin in a post-game, and I had mentioned this in one of my videos, Shesterkin in a post-game, he had said, it's Brazilian. They're playing like Brazilian style, meaning the other team is being able to score as many as they can, and the Rangers are scoring as many as they want. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And when they want to score, as we saw last night, they can really step up, and hopefully that momentum will roll through. Everybody get a little break from the All-Star and go from there.
Well, Anthony, did you get to see the end of that game?
I didn't see it live. I saw all the, basically the highlights of it on social media and whatnot.
All right. So they ruled that that Cam Talbot was pushed into the net. Did the refs get that right?
The only thing I'll say is that Strome definitely used his stick to push Talbot's pad. Other than that, I disagree with everything else that went on there. But you can't deny that Strome pushed Talbot's pad with his stick, and unfortunately, you can't do that. I know he wasn't the one that ultimately put it in the net. Seems like Zibanejad's stick came in the corner of the screen and knocked it in. But unfortunately, every time the refs see that, they're gonna say it was interference because of it. The only the counterpoint to I'll say to that is if that's the case, they should have blown the whistle, so Strome wouldn't have kept whacking at the pad. So it was kind of like a catch-22.
Here's another counterpoint.
So it's unfortunate, but
Strome was pushed into Talbot.
That was another counterpoint I was going to make. And a third counterpoint is in that situation, the puck is loose in front of the net. And not to take away from what you were saying, though, if the refs see that, they'll call it. They don't call that every time. It's a 50-50. That type of loose puck in front of the net and, the struggle sticks are going through, that is always up in the air. It's a 50-50. It's on the ref. They make the call. The way that I saw it, and I'm known for sitting down and going in slowest motion possible, checking everything. I mean, everything from an Achari slew foot embellishment, I'll go all day on it, hyper focus. That to me was, it could have gone either way. It's not a solid call. It's up in the air. But as Toronto always does, which I think it stems from a little bit of feeling a little intimidated by the fact that the New York Rangers organization is always neck and neck with them in terms of being the best organization. And why not just let Hank down one more time, Toronto? But I do agree that he was pushed in. I do agree that the whistle definitely should have been blown if there was kind of a goalie interference. And yeah, it's a 50-50 call in my book.
As far as I'm concerned, the way that I've kind of joked around about this the last few days, that the Rangers honored Henrik Lundqvist for his career, and then the NHL and the refs honored him by screwing over the Rangers once again. Mm-hmm. So I'll never forgive them for the Dwight King Game 2 non-goalie interference call, but that's a different story. The other point I got to bring out, guys, is Talbot's reaching for the puck. He's reaching with his left hand. When you reach with your left, your right side goes backwards.
It's true.
So it's not just Strome pushing it in. Is it a tremendous travesty that's going to cost the Rangers this season? Of course not. And that'll be more for discussing the rest of the first half.
There's one last thing that nobody's brought up here with this, and that the point is that the call itself is so frustratingly inconsistent that there's never any clarity as to what happens with these calls and the way it's supposed to be called. So yes. It's like a catch in football. What is a catch? What is the feeder down, having to go through and finish the catch and all that other nonsense they talk about? But there's never any consistency, and we never have anything clearly defined in any of this. And that's the most frustrating part about all of it.
Even more frustrating is we all know, and unfortunately you see the NHL ref, he had hot mic'd and he loses a job. But if you're pulling on one team and then you kind of owe the other team one or something. And in that situation, the game got so tight and it's that night and all of that. And the call really is 50-50. I'm just going to give the referees the benefit of the doubt. They all had something very important to get to after the game. They just couldn't go to OT. Very important plans after the fact, because it really could have gone either way. But
they had to make Hank's after party. Let's just
yeah,
keep it at
seriously, which I'm pretty sure Steve Valiquette was at. He was looking like he was having a blast during those intermission
Anthony,
reports.
last word on this.
Yeah, goaltender interference. Like John said, it's pretty inconsistent across the board. It's too often than not you see one goal get waved off, and a very similar situation happen in another game throughout the league, and the goal stands. So there's no consistency with it. And the one thing that I really hate is I've seen goals waved off where a player is at the top of the crease, literally doesn't really even touch the goaltender, like aside from maybe like his back brushing up against like the top of his goal stick or whatever it is, the butt end of it, and they call it no goal. It's just the player has the right to be there just as much as the goalie has the right to the space in front of him. As long as you're not in the blue paint, toppling him over, I think it's gone too soft.
Yeah, vice versa. And that too, unless you're pulling a Buffalo Sabres goalie coming out and checking people. And I think they really need to. Yeah, I think they really need to come in.
Are we really going to get into the phantom Brad Isbister goaltender interference call in Game 5 in 2007? Because that's a bad one too.
I think we can all agree though. Goaltender interference is something that needs to be looked at. And it's got to be a little bit more of a defined line. It's easier to get away with it back in the day before this replay and before these HD replay super slow-mo. Now it's technology's making it so that you're going to really need to define the lines when it comes down to these rules and what is not.
And just otherwise, look at what the NFL has done with that. It's been a bit of a problem because everything's frame by frame by frame.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but what were your thoughts on the Lundqvist night and the controversy at the end? Throw it down in the comments below, guys. We are going to get back to actually talking to you, Tara.
So what's that?
Let me get your information right back up again.
Mm-hmm.
And then there we go. We could always find you at the Glove Drop on YouTube, Instagram, everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So what started you playing hockey?
Oh, boy. Well, I grew up with 3 brothers, so that kind of helped. But it's actually a funny story. Growing up 3 brothers, you're very tough. You don't cry if you're hurt or you're sad or anything. But as a kid, I was 4 years old, and I'm aging myself. But I'm watching. My dad's got the Stanley Cup on, and the Rangers win. I didn't know what hockey was, but it was a very emotional experience for a little kid. Because I'm watching. I see everybody going excited, and the Rangers fans. My dad's yelling. And then they pan over and I see the Canucks and they're big men kneel down and the tears are flowing. And I was so captivated by it that I had gotten tears in my eyes, whether it was because I felt bad for them, whatever. My older brother, Devin, Tara's crying. And I lost it, flying up to my room, screaming, I'm not crying. But I was so intrigued. It was such a core memory of seeing that as time went on, I started faking a tummy ache to stay up late and watch a game with my dad. If he had a game on, I'd be like, I can't sleep. And from there, I started to play, which is fantastic. There's a lake right behind me. It's been frozen, playing on there. Played a bit through school, and then turned out I was a much better runner. So I started focusing on running and did that through college, but finally got back on the ice about a year and a half ago. And I gotta say, it's truly the best thing in the world. And I am so grateful for hockey, the community, and even when I wasn't out on the ice playing, just the bond shared between and the respect between players and fans it's something that you don't see in other sports. And I can say wholeheartedly that hockey is absolutely one of the single greatest, most genuine things left on earth, for sure. So with that, I started up my YouTube channel. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. And at the time I was modeling and I saw Steve Dangle doing something. I was like, you know what? He almost likes the Leafs as much as I like the Rangers.
Steve Dangle is great.
So I was kind of inspired and it took a while. It takes a while. You got to be, learn how to do it all, but also learn how to be on the camera and be genuine. Because if you're just reading something, nobody wants a talking head. So I dug deep. After a few months, got a little bit more comfortable with it, and I went from there, and it's been great. And even though I'm a girl, I have not received any, in my opinion, obstacle being in the world of hockey at all. I don't know. This is just my own experience, and it's just been unbelievable. Do people comment on my videos and say things that you don't know what you're talking? Do you were talking about? Yeah, for sure. But it's in reference to a play. It's because they disagree with my opinion. So if you're in my comments disagreeing with my opinion, that's great. That means you're hearing what I'm saying. And
eyes on you.
That's the game, and that's how it is. And I love it. And I'm so excited to keep the content going. TikTok, oh my gosh, TikTok is super fun. That's kind of the more light side of all of it. I'm not screaming and trying to meditate through a Rangers game, and that it's kind of a little bit more the locker room antics and the fun.
Stress levels at an all-time high.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get some funny content. There's some silly stuff that happens at the rink, that's for sure. And when you head out to games, and so it's just entertainment across the board, whether it's me freaking out or me really happy or me falling off the bench, whatever it is, it's the best, and I love it. And I get to meet and talk with people like you, so can't beat it, right?
No, you're right. You said it best. The hockey community is an awesome community. Hockey has given me so much. I grew up an only child. You grew up with 3 brothers.
I did too.
So Tara, did you ever get the Goldberg treatment from your brothers?
Did I ever get the what?
The Goldberg treatment from your brothers? Did they ever?
Absolutely, of course. But my youngest brother, and for some reason, somebody pointed this out to me, though. Why is it that the youngest sibling is always a goalie? I'm like, well, the youngest sibling is the one that you say, here, put all this on and we're going to shoot pucks at you. My youngest brother, he's a fantastic goalie. The guy is incredible. It helps that he's 6'2", off skates. But he is up at Fort Drum. He's in the military. So he's up in Fort Drum, and he's working with kids 10 and under goalies. And every year, and this time around, it's the first time I got both of my brothers out on the ice. We had a little family Christmas hockey game. He was in net. And now every time I show up at the rink, the board's like, where are your brothers? Or where's your brother? Because he was such a good goalie, and it was awesome. But yeah, there's been a lot of stitches, some from them, some from just the guys I play with. It is what it is. The moneymaker. Worth it.
That's awesome.
Totally worth it.
That's awesome.
So who, if you're, life as a Ranger fan, who's your favorite player that's
Mark
played?
Messier.
Mark Messier. That's a good choice.
That one real quick. I'm number 11.
Captain, yeah.
I think his demeanor, and I mean the captain. He is the captain. It's one thing to have a status in that with Hank, but with Hank, his whole thing is he's taking care of what needs to be taken care of in the net. Something that I loved so much about him was his ability to bring the team together. But the goalie's got to be quiet. He's focused. He's dialed in. I love to see a player who's a real locker room guy, somebody who's really going to pull people up to their level. And Messier is the epitome of that. He was such a glue guy, such the captain across the boards. Love him, favorite. Got Messier stuff. I've been number 11 forever. So Messier, if you're watching this, you're my favorite.
There's only one guy ahead of him for me, and that's Wayne Gretzky. That's it.
Gretzky.
The reason why I started playing.
There he is.
Brian Leach, Mike Gartner, and Darren Turcotte were my favorites when originally I started watching.
What about aging yourself?
I know. Well, I can't help it. I just got to accept my age right there. But how pumped are you, though, in the next couple weeks, being able to watch Team USA defend their gold medal that they won in Pyeongchang?
It's I hate to say it like this, but there has been a little bit of the glory been kind of sucked out of the Olympics just with everything going on. That doesn't seem like the real experience. I do remember when the women won gold in 98.
Yes.
And that was the same year that Tara Lipinski was figure skating. And I remember a bunch of kids, I was in second or third grade at the time, were like, I was so angry that her name was Tara because I didn't want to be a figure skater. And everybody was like, oh, like Tara Lipinski. I'm like, no, but the hockey. But I think it's going to be great. I think the women's hockey programs too have gotten crazy. I'm excited to see who actually does show up for Team USA on the men's side. I know a few people are holding back, right?
Yeah.
I thought they actually asked Anthony to play, but I wasn't sure.
I think they might have asked me.
I think they did.
You're busy at the All-Star game though, right?
So let's just throw this out there. who does the little leg kick, backhand, forehand move better, Zuccarello or Jocelyn Lamoureux? Because Jocelyn Lamoureux's is just absolutely filthy.
Some of these girls got quick hands. Now, this is coming from a girl whose edges are shot.com. But these, they come in and they're going circles. It's a different, it's a little bit of a different game. You got to have hands if you can't really be throwing your whole body around.
That's true.
It's amazing. But let's go real here. The leg kick, that's a Panarin move all day, every day. I want to see him do it before he scores next time.
Yeah, a little bit of a different leg kick, but yeah, I'll give you that. That's definitely Panarin's thing.
My move is the
Messier did the leg kick plenty.
Oh yeah, the Austin Matthews toe drag before the wrister to change the direction of the shot. Now, mind you, my shot, I don't even know where it's going at all to begin with, but the toe drag puts a little more power behind it. So I just say, I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at this Austin Matthews toe drag wrister, quick off, like change the direction of the shot. I intended to do that. No, but it works.
I don't know how he just gets so much on that in such a short span of time. It's almost like physics defying. It is.
And he learned that in Arizona.
I know. What a homecoming for him, though. What a homecoming in Arizona. Big loss to the Yotes. Oof. Stings. Guy can't have it all. He can't have it all.
No, and yeah, they're another story. I don't even know what's going to happen with them. They want to play in a 5,000 person arena for the next 2-3 years? Are you kidding?
Hopefully they figure it out.
I don't understand that one.
It is great to see how much it's grown.
Hopefully they'll find a way to keep them in Arizona because I know the NHL would prefer to keep them there.
Mm-hmm. The growth in Florida and California has been tremendous too. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get the Southwest to kind of rally up behind it too. But now that Vegas has got a fan base and a half. That's for sure. They could stay. I'll take Reeves though. Thanks.
And I'm happy to say that in Florida, one of my old teammates, a friend of mine, Timmy Kirkostas, is helping to grow the game out there because he used to coach Shane Gostisbehere.
Oh, no way.
And I think a couple other guys too that are in the league.
Union College.
Yeah, Union College.
Yeah, they beat was it them or was it Providence that beat Boston U in the 2015 game and denied Jack Eichel and former Ranger coach, thankfully former David Quinn.
Yeah, that was a hot second, quick little. He did his best. I don't know, man. I'm a Penn State girl. I went to Penn State. I played on the hockey team for a week because 2 girls were out injured and one was out at university games. I swear, warm-ups, I was already gagged. I was dying. But Big Ten hockey all day. Let's go. Sit down, boss.
Damn right. Big Ten.
Yes.
Michigan fan for me.
I can't say anything. I have a North Dakota Sioux jersey.
Yucky.
Oh, it's so awesome.
No, that one's dope. Michigan, sit down. Unless you're already sitting.
All right. So let me get you out with this one question. Do you ever have people underestimate you on the ice because they go, oh, it's a girl?
Well, like I said, I just got back recently playing. So there have been a few times where I'll be playing and I'll notice that the D will back off or they'll just let me kind of go. And then I lose my mind. I scream at them. I'm like, I swear if one more person stop, I'll go off on them. I think my presence in the beginning, they were a little bit nicer and stuff, but after 2 days playing with them, they kind of recognized my personality and the chirps are flying and I could see it being incredibly intimidating. Walking in, especially not knowing anybody. So I walk in, it's 20 dudes there and I don't know any of them and they're all pretty good. And I haven't skated in 16 years. So at first it was a little intimidating but they were all incredibly helpful. Why they were helpful, I don't know. Maybe somebody's trying to get a date or something, but very helpful. Now it's just now I'm just getting chirped at, and they know if somebody's goes easy on me, it's I'm going to take the puck from them. Pretty good at stripping the puck if I see somebody slow it down. But it's great. Like the people that I play with, they want you to be there. They want you to be there, and they will make comments. Oh my God, you did great, or your skating's getting so much better, or your shot got a lot better. And they want to work with you and want to help you. And it's like our own little family of 20 people, ages 19 to 55. But again, only girl. But even if you look at my Instagram stories today, there's some stuff from lunch hockey, and the friendships that you make are amazing.
Yeah,
and you just want to see everybody have a good time.
From Twitter.
Yeah. My
Yeah,
Zuki
I saw
talk.
that was pretty cool.
I didn't do it on purpose.
What do you think you're Mika Zibanejad over here with your jersey tuck?
It just tucks itself in. I can't help it. It's because my pants are women's.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Scott Gomez. You put more of a jersey tuck than that.
Scotty Gomez. Oh, another Rangers legend.
Hey, you know what? He's a Rangers legend, but he ended up getting us Ryan McDonough.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that guy.
Can't say anything bad about that.
Miss him. Can't say a bad word about Ryan McDonough ever. He's the man.
What?
Well,
I did, however, get some. I did get some tickets for my birthday though for a couple Rangers games. I'm going with my dad to see them take on Boston, who Brad Marchand, you little rat. That's going to be a great game, and then Rangers Islanders in St. Patrick's Day. So hopefully this time around, we all remember the St. Patrick's Day massacre of last year. Rangers beating the Flyers 9-0, just mopping the entire MSG arena with them. That was unbelievable. So hopefully this time around will be the same deal, except with the Islanders.
Well, I know the man down in the adjacent box from you would prefer that not to happen. But we were actually supposed to have our first ever bar meetup on the day that game is canceled, and they decided, hey, let's put it on St. Patrick's Day because bars need people on St. Patrick's Day. Right. All right, Tara, it was great to have you.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to be here.
Yeah, we'd love to go on and help you out and go get you there. So if you want any of us on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably this guy over here. You take him.
Like top red. That guy. Wait, that guy. There it is.
The hard part is where I'm mirrored, so I don't even know which way I'm pointing sometimes.
This is how well I shoot the puck. That way.
Yeah, but we'd love to have you back anytime. So
absolutely. You. Thanks again. This was awesome. What a fun way to wind down the day.
There you go.
All right, everybody enjoy All-Star break. Best of luck with everything, and come to lunch hockey. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
I'll see you on the ice.
I'll see you out there, guys.
Bye, Tara.
Bye.
All right. So again, that was Tara Fitzgerald from the Glove Drop, and we're just going to take 2 questions on the Rangers before we go to the Islanders, because we had these stats to show from the Rangers this week. Chris Kreider getting his 33rd goal last night and his 17th on the power play. Adam Fox tied for the lead with NHL defensemen. You should see the comment section from our midseason awards, Anthony. They had some choice words for us not selecting Cale Makar instead of Adam Fox. This is a number that shocked me. Igor Shesterkin's 20th win of the season when the Rangers have been outshot. So, quickly, Anthony, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts on the Rangers in the first half and what their potential is?
I think it's clear they, exceeded everyone's expectations from this season. I think we all thought they were going to be an improved team. But at the beginning of the year, I'd pretty much everyone had, the Hurricanes, Islanders, Capitals all ahead of them. So in that regard, they've definitely, like I said, exceeded expectations by far. And for what's to come, I think it's going to be a dogfight to see who wins the Metro between them, Pittsburgh, Carolina. Washington is still in the mix too, so it's going to be. You're talking 4 teams could realistically win the division, so it's going to be very interesting as long as they stay healthy. Adam Fox comes back. There's no more serious injuries to an Igor or Fox himself or Kreider. I think they're going to be in good shape to make a good run, finish strong, and enter the playoffs feeling good about themselves. But I as an Islander fan, I'll admit it, I expect more of the same in the second half unless something catastrophic happens.
Doug?
I could see them finishing anywhere from 1 to 3 in the division. And it like as Anthony said, the injuries are the thing. I was going to highlight that, because I thought that was hilarious. But LZ's been chirping you the whole time. He called you Steve's trash too, by the way, which was great.
I don't even know what a Steez is.
Well, I'll explain afterwards. But I think they could, like I said, finish between 1 and 3 in the division. I don't think they should finish any lower than 3 at this point. You've built up such a rapport right now. You would have to have a monstrous collapse. They have, I believe they have 34 games left now, was it? I think it's 34. Even if they win 17 of those games, that's 34 points right there. That would put them over 100 points. That would solidify them one of the top 3 spots in the division. So they could play 500 hockey the rest of the way, which I don't think. I think they'll continue to play about between 550 and 600 hockey. I honestly think they'll probably end up finishing second in the division. I think Carolina, just having those games in hand, is just going to be too much to overcome in the end. But I could see them finishing anywhere between 1 and 3. And the team has a lot going for them. They need to go make an acquisition at the deadline, though. Alexi Lafreniere needs to stay on that top line. I don't know why Gerard Gallant would even think about demoting this kid, actually, especially with the way that he's played lately. He needs to play on the top line. I mean, I texted the group yesterday and pointed out that both Wahlstrom and Lafreniere both got their 10th goals of the season last night. You know what? It's going to keep happening if you keep putting him there, and he's going to get better. He's starting to move his feet more. There is speed there. It needs to improve. His strength and conditioning need to improve as well. But you're not going to give the kid anything to work with if you continue to play him on a bottom line for 12 to 14 minutes a game. It's just not going to work. And you got to make sure that he's getting those minutes. Adam Fox coming back will obviously be a big help. Igor's elite. Igor's elite. If you want to say he's the best goaltender in the league, I have no problem with it. If you want to say somebody else who's more established is the better goaltender right now, sure. But, I mean, the Rangers have a lot of things going for them. And honestly, Chris Kreider, he's not disappearing. I thought he was going to go into his ghost mode again. Nope. He had a couple of games where I thought the efforts weren't there, off the puck and, everything else. But he's coming back, and he leads the league in goals. And who the hell would have thought that in February, Chris Kreider would have 33 goals to lead the league in the NHL?
Certainly not me, and I'm the Chris Kreider fan club president.
Yeah, I was about to say, someone might have gotten a little excited after last night's 2-goal out. So, but yeah.
More on that in a little bit.
More on that in a little bit. But so I just hope to God that they can win, I would say, at least 20 of these next 34 games I think they have. And you could go into the playoffs on a high note and make a couple of acquisitions by the deadline.
Well, I'm going to be really quick because we got one fast question to do with this. I don't think the Rangers have peaked yet. I think if they get a third-line center and establish that bottom 6 a little bit better, again, more on that in a little bit, then this team, really, the sky could be the limit. And right now, they're not there yet, but it is promising. Igor Shesterkin has been absolutely fantastic, and Gerard Gallant is starting to really make the Rangers mirror the Las Vegas Golden Knights in their first season. But moving on from there, who's really the Rangers MVP? Because you could say Artemi Panarin, Chris Kreider, at times Mika Zibanejad, but is it Igor Shesterkin a bust? Phil.
I got to go with Igor. And I mean, there was a stat that I believe you had looked up that said that they were Igor has 20 wins this season when the Rangers have been outshot, which is unreal. And not only that, but you have players like this guy in the lineup.
We'll talk about that later.
Like Patrick Nemeth in the lineup. You have players like Jared Tenorti in the lineup. And they do nothing but drag the team down. And Igor still excels despite all of that. So I'm gonna go with Igor, but Adam Fox would be a number 2 for me. Anthony,
quickly.
Igor. You could say Kreider or Fox, but goaltending is the most important position in hockey. And he's been sensational for him. So it's easy for me.
All right. And you know what? I'm going to go with Igor, but the other guys are starting to make a case. But what do you guys think about the Rangers in the first half? Have they peaked yet? I don't think they have. I think there could be more. Throw it down in the comments below. Because we got to talk about the other New York team, and that would be the New York Islanders, who they sit right now in sixth place. Sorry. They're in fifth place right now in Metro, aren't they?
Well, let's do a little
What?
standing looking.
The Islanders are in fifth place or sixth place. I think I just messed that up.
They're ahead of Jersey and Philly, so I guess
Sixth.
All right, so they are in sixth. All right.
Yeah, they're at 6:38.
My mistake. Okay. Well, anyway, so we go to the New York Islanders, who right now are sitting in sixth, but they got plenty of games in hand on the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it's been – Anthony, how can you even sum up the Islanders' first half of the season?
Disappointing, weird, inconsistent, mostly. I would go with those three adjectives. Listen, we all know what the expectations were of them before the season started. It was to reach the Stanley Cup Finals. We talked about this before. A lot of media people had them going to the Stanley Cup Finals, going to the conference finals again.
Two people here did that too.
Yeah. It's very, very disappointing. You could talk about all the stuff they had to endure, but at the end of the day, they just have underachieved this season. And not gonna make excuses for them. I mean, they have played a lot of meaningful playoff hockey over the last 2 years, and I don't know if the mental grind of having to do it all over again in the regular season weighed on them or whatnot. But unfortunately, it didn't play out for them this season, and we'll see what happens the rest of this season. But it is what it is. And honestly, if you would have told me before the season started the Islanders would be where they are right now, I would have been like really upset. I would have been like, oh wow, that sucks massively and all this. But I'm not that bothered by it. I think mostly because one, they did go through a unique set of circumstances to begin this year. And also, like I said, they have a lot of good young pieces and good pieces on their hockey club in place where just a little bit of tinkering in the offseason. And I think they could be right back where they were. Lou Lamoriello, guys, I imagine he's probably pretty mad about how this has gone. And he's not going to take it lightly. And I think in the offseason, he's going to make a lot of waves. I'm not saying in the sense of like he's going to blow up the team, but I think he's going to make additions to this team. He's going to tinker here and there, and they're going to come back and start anew next season. So at this point, it is what it is. It's not worth getting all depressed about it, but unfortunately, the crumb didn't go our way so far this season for us Islander fans. So
they certainly got some cap space.
Yeah.
I actually was talking about that on All Things Islanders the other day. I made a whole big lengthy post, but they have like $12.4 million coming off the books this offseason. And if to further that, if Lou moved Bailey or Varlamov, he could have upwards of like $22 million in cap space. So, but listen, at this point, he just needs to kind of just fine tune the roster a little bit. I think, it will probably best be served to let one of these guys who have been involved in the top 9 for the last couple of years go to bring in a fresh face. He might have. Listen, Mark called Big Lou, and I don't think Big Lou was very happy about it.
I don't think Big Lou was happy about that either.
No. So, but Big Lou is believe me, he's probably his ears are steaming behind the scenes, and I think in the off season he's gonna get to work. But as far as this season, just like take it one game at a time, and let the chips fall where they may. Don't do anything at this point to, mortgage the future by trying to make an addition to, unless I said you got to that 5 or 6 point threshold. Other than that, just let it be. And to answer this question quick, what assets do they have? If you're talking in the sense of, bringing in a player to help now, their first round pick, but I wouldn't trade it again for the third year in a row. I wouldn't do it. There's Robin Salo, guys like that. But again, I wouldn't move him. Alturatu, I wouldn't move him either right now. He's their top prospect. So those are the Anthony Beauvillier. So those are the assets they could move, but I don't see that happening in season. Again, in the off season, I could see Lou shaking things up by jettisoning Bailey or Beauvillier in efforts to shake up the makeup of the team. But don't be surprised if Philip Forsberg reaches unrestricted free agency. I gotta think that Lou is gonna go after him hard. Because aside from Oliver Wahlstrom, Brock Nelson can shoot the puck really well, but aside from Wahlstrom, they need another guy that can really just tee one off past the goalie and beat him clean. And Forsberg can do that, and he's got the hands to boot. So that's a guy I think that they could look to in the offseason. But again, for the here and now, Ryan Pollock's back. Their team's pretty much totally healthy. Just see what you can do. And if you get close, you get close, and maybe then you look to add somebody. But for now, it's just ride it out.
Part of what's good about having such thorough analysis and smart minds like Anthony and Philk is that Anthony just covered literally every question that I had for the Islanders and that I had prepared for this segment. Philk, what do you think about the Islanders? What are some of the bright spots that you can actually look for in this team and say they could actually either make a run for the playoffs or look towards next season?
I think the playoffs are going to be a real tough battle for them because of the fact that even with their games in hand, they're still going to, if they win all those games in hand, there's still a considerable lead for Boston over them. And Boston doesn't seem to be losing. And then even Washington. And Washington too. So, and they helped us out last night, by the way, Dmitry Orlov winning in overtime against the Penguins. So that was big for the Rangers. But the Islanders, if there's there's 3 things that I'm going to be looking at if I'm an Islander fan. And I'm saying, hey, the circumstances have been garbage. We were dealt the worst hand possible. We went to the table as the short stack and were dealt a 7-2 offsuit for about 10 hands in a row, and they expected us to win. But you know what? You came out of this. You got Noah Dobson has taken a big step.
Yep.
He's a legitimate top 4 defenseman right now. I don't think there's a team in the NHL that wouldn't kill to have him. Oliver Wahlstrom is continuing to show you more signs despite Barry Trotz's mishandling of him. And Anthony and I have discussed this in detail because as Ranger fans, we're literally going through the same things with guys like Alexei Lafreniere, Capo Caco, and Vitaly Kravtsov. And we're sitting there saying to ourselves, like, wow, the handshake meme of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers' arms, where it says it's like Ranger fans, Islander fans
from the beginning of Predator,
their young prospects. That's literally both fan bases right now, just with these guys. So yeah, Oliver Wahlstrom has shown a hell of a lot, despite the fact that Barry Trotz seems to want to stack the deck against him for whatever reason he has. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he pissed him off in the locker room. The other thing would be Robin Salo is an NHL level defender. There's no
more on him in a little bit.
Yeah, there's no reason why Chara or Green should get minutes over him at this point. I'm sorry. I know what those guys mean in terms of, the locker room and everything like that and the long careers that they've both had, but it's time to start giving this kid more meaningful minutes because I've said it from his debut. I thought the kid's skating was really good. I thought his puck handling was good. I thought his decision-making and poise were both pretty good. And he's continuing to just get better. So, yeah, he needs to stay.
By the way, it's funny that you had Noah Dobson and Oliver Wahlstrom that you mentioned. And you can't help but think about the poor general manager that decided to not select either one of those players. What a great decision. So, but
you had to do
I
that.
forgot if we
didn't you?
touched on this last week, but again, Anthony, I'm going to go back to this again because you got to get the casual fan to say, why doesn't the Islanders just tank and try to get whatever? No, that's not the answer on this. You shouldn't be trying to tank right now.
You know what would
This
be
is an
the
organization
worst?
built pretty strong.
You know
Nah,
what would be the worst thing, though? I'm sorry. The worst thing that could happen for Ranger fans would be the Islanders coming this close to the playoffs, and then someone like Brad Lambert somehow falls to them, and they could miss the playoffs, not tank, and still get someone like Lambert, who's going to be a very, very good NHL player one day. That would be a nightmare for every Ranger fan.
Anthony, the thought you were trying to get out.
Mark, you said this a while ago, but they're still going to win the center matchup pretty much every night who they play with. They're deep at center ice. Their defense, I mean, is starting to really with Dobson's emergence. I mean, I have Pelech, Pollock, Dobson. Mayfield's a very formidable top 4D that he's kind of grown to the last 2 years. The goaltending set with Sorokin. So they're main core pieces that you need to be successful. The Islanders have it in place. Again, they just, this was, for whatever reason, this was a perfect storm of a year for everything to essentially go wrong for them, and it did. I think they're going to get younger next year. Guys like Green, Chara, Parise, who bring their average age up a lot. They'll all be gone. Although I will say, had a discussion on this with my fellow Islander fans. Cal Clutterbuck's an unrestricted free agent, making, 3.5. I'm assuming he's, probably follow suit with Cizikas and Clutterbuck, take a little less, like $2 million. But I would much rather bring Parise back for league minimum again and put him on the fourth line, because I absolutely love Parise's work ethic. And for a 37-year-old, he still plays a speed game, and the points are slowly starting to come for him. So I would bring him back next year on the fourth line. But what I was getting at was basically the Islanders, the structure, the blueprint for their team going forward is all there. Like I said, just some fine tuning they have to make. Josh Bailey's been a great soldier for them. Like I said last week, he's getting up there in their career, assists and all that stuff. He is what he is. He's a good 40 to 50 point guy. But he doesn't know how to shoot the puck. He always makes the fancy pass. He's making $5 million, and they need a guy that can put the puck in the net. So if they can get rid of him in exchange for a guy who could score, that's a win. I'm also not opposed to moving Beauvillier in the right deal. I mean, Beauvillier has a lot of skill, but I would move him if they were able to bring back a top 4D, a similar age. But overall, yeah, I'm not concerned about the team for going next season. I think they could easily be a playoff team again. But as for this year, bright spots, I said it the other day on All Things Islanders, Noah Dobson, Philk already mentioned, Oliver Wahlstrom, Brock Nelson, 22 points in 29 games. He's actually playing at pretty much to basically match his career high in numbers, despite missing that time with injury. I thought he's been really good for them. So there has certainly been bright spots for them. It's just overall, there's just too many things that happened to them that just kind of sunk them. It is what it is, but that's what they say at hockey. Points in October are just as valuable as in March. And in this case, they let a lot of points get away in November. And unfortunately, it's probably what ends up costing them their season. But
Anthony, did you see that question that I highlighted from D. Ely?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I would love him, but Lou doesn't really strike me as a offer sheet type of guy.
Nope.
So I don't think he would do it. But I mean, I would love to have him. I mean, the Islanders wouldn't need him at center ice, but he could play the wing. He would be great. But I don't foresee that really happening. Again, I mean, it's hard to speculate through trade because you never know. But the one guy I'll say, if Philip Forsberg, I mean, he's easily the guy for me. If Nashville, for whatever reason, doesn't re-sign him or he tests the waters, Philip Forsberg next to Barzell would be
He's
would
going to
be
cost
good.
money. He
will.
He's
No
gonna
doubt.
cost, I would say, at least $9 million against the cap. I would say.
No, he what has 23 goals or so right now? 20 Philip Forsberg around there.
I gotta look that up. He's having a great season with Nashville now.
I will give you that in a second. Actually, he has 24 goals and 38 points in 33 games.
Yeah.
Let me go back to you, Anthony. Though, do you have any reservations on possibly giving up on Anthony Beauvillier?
I listed him in in the negative section in that post I made the other day. You know what? He is young, so yeah, for sure, and he also has what you want. I mean, he's got the speed, he's got the stick handling ability, but for a reason, he's got 6 goals, and this is a guy that's scored 18, 19 goals multiple times. So I don't know what it is, but it's hard to get on him, being that really the whole team is kind of underachieving. But I like I said, I would trade Beauvillier in the right deal. I wouldn't give him up for obviously nothing, because he's a really good player, and I think a lot of teams would like to have him on their roster. But the thing is, when you look at the Islanders and you think of forwards who can maybe realistically go, it really comes down to just him and Bailey, because guys like Barzell, Wallstrom, Pajot, Nelson, they're not going anywhere because they simply shouldn't. And then you have guys like Palmieri, Lee. Then it's comes in, they're not leaving because of contract and other type of issues. So that really just leaves Bailey and Beauvillier is really the only 2 spots to upgrade their forward position in the top 6 or top 9. So that's why Beauvillier's name comes up. He's young, and he's on a team friendly contract.
Okay, yeah, because I look at him, he could possibly be another. I'm just saying, if you give up on him and then he explodes elsewhere, like a Todd Bertuzzi or an Alexei Kovalev, and you see the Rangers held on to Chris Kreider, and now you're getting the best out of him. Granted, you don't want to wait 9 years for that to happen, but still.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Kreider has been fantastic, but at age 30, you got to think that this year might be an outlier, and there's a good chance he can go back to scoring, 23 goals next season.
I would say so too, because you get rebounds and deflections.
I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it's rare to see a guy at 30 just become a guy who's going to score, 40 goals.
No, I get what you're saying, and I agree with you to that point that it could definitely be an outlier. The one thing I will say is that a lot of people talk about shooting percentage, and with shooting percentage, you have to bring in context into play. When you're talking about certain players, some guys are always going to have higher shooting percentages than other players because of the way that they are. Like Alexander Ovechkin's is always going to be a little lower because he's a volume shooter. Mm-hmm. Chris Kreider, all of his shots come from high danger areas. He's not a guy that even really shoots the puck. He tips and deflects pucks in and bats them home. So,
usually he likes to go in on the left wing and try to shoot.
But he does that far less now than he used to.
But we're getting away from where I was saying about giving up on Anthony Beauvillier.
I know.
I don't think it would be giving up on him. I think if they did move him again, it would be because he's the most realistic asset they have that has value that they can, stomach moving. Again, I'm not moving any of the younger prospects because they don't have too many of them, and cost control is a big thing. It doesn't make any sense for them to move Robin Sala right now because he makes nothing and he still has a lot of potential. So again, Beauvillier is probably the most attractive piece they have that teams would want, that Lou would maybe realistically say, okay, like for instance, they've been mentioned for Jacob Chikrin. And when you think about that deal, Beauvillier is definitely in it. Do you do it? I mean,
hands down. But you know what? Here's another thing Lou can do. Nothing. They got plenty of cap space. They could add it on next year and get some new players and reload. What do you guys think? Would that be a good philosophy for the Islanders? Throw it down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got our Bar Talk segment that we're going to go through. As you see, my laptop battery is starting to wear down. I'm at 43%. 43 is a great number, not exactly for a laptop battery. But before we do that, we're just going to give you a preview of a video that we got coming out within the next couple days. Video games have been part of our culture for decades, and sports games have been front and center since Pong was created in 1972. While every sport has been captured by the virtual world, hockey hasn't translated as well as, say, football, basketball, soccer, or baseball. But at least they got NASCAR beat. While hockey hasn't seen the wide success of the other sports, it certainly had some gems that gained a place in fans' hearts through the years. I'm Mark for Big Apple Hockey, and these are the best hockey video games of all time. So quickly, do you guys have a favorite hockey video game, or is it just basically anything from the NHL series?
I would definitely say NHL 95 for Sega is my all-time favorite hockey game.
Really? All right. Anthony?
Absolutely.
Is that the Kirk McLean cover?
Yes, the Kirk McLean Alexei Kovalov Game 4 cover,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's actually one of mine too. That was I really enjoyed that game. And
yeah, at first I
really liked NHL 2001 for PlayStation 2. I think it might have been Lemieux on the cover.
And that was NHL 2002. 2001 was Owen Nolan.
Okay, so yeah, that's I like that one a lot too.
Which
I
one?
love that
Lemieux
game.
2002?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Because I thought about trying to do it individually, but you know what? NHL would take up that entire list. So it's just the NHL series at one point. All right, guys, we're going to do some bar talk. Let's get down to it.
I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer. I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh, my God.
Welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we gauge our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. No, I have not had any so far this afternoon. This morning, different story before my flight. And are you so confident you're going to buy everybody around? You're not feeling confident? It's just a shot? Or so-so, I'll have a beer. But, Philip, we're going to start with you on this one. The Rangers' top line right wings are hindering the team more than their bottom six gaps.
Beer. And the reason why I say this is because, yes, they need production out of their top line right wingers. Kakko, hadn't been great on that top line with Zibanejad and Kreider. Alexei Lafreniere looks like he's finally found a home. But they definitely need help in the bottom six as well. There's just no doubt about it. You can't have Greg McKegg playing regular minutes for you. Dryden Hunt has been awful for a long time. So they need to fix both areas. So I'm going beer here.
Anthony.
I'm going to go beer as well. I think Kakko is really kind of screwing the pooch with them in this regard. Lafreniere is starting to, showing signs of improvement, but I haven't seen, really anything from Kakko offensively lately. So that's that could, hurt. Yeah, he has, that's for sure. But I think Lafreniere took some more steps lately than he has when he has been on the ice. But I think though they need to make improvements with the bottom six, like Phil had said, in the playoff time when those guys can become your unsung heroes and the grind game is really strong. That's when those guys really flourish. So they could really make some improvements there.
I'm gonna go shot. The real problem is they got to strengthen their bottom six. You need Barclay Goodrow to be in the bottom six, not in the top six.
Yep.
And if you could get the Rangers to have a Philip Deneau or somebody like that, and they would, or maybe like, for instance, JG Pajot.
Get me
this
a Jared
team would be
McCann.
infinitely better. Instead, it's not.
Get me and John D. Lee's boy Jared McCann at the deadline, and that kills two birds with one stone.
I would also try to target Cedric Paquette because after all, he did play, I believe, with Barclay Goodrow at one point. Oh no, they were just teammates. Anyway, going to a guy that Anthony was talking about before, Robin Salo should get more playing time. Anthony, sorry.
I mean, round. Listen, I'm ecstatic that Pollock is back. It was nice to see him in the lineup last night, but it shouldn't have been in lieu of Robin Salo. I mean, he plays with speed. He can move the puck. He can play on the power play. He could skate the puck out of danger in his own end, make that good first pass. And you're taking him out and keeping, Green and Chara in the lineup. Look, the Islanders were 2 points out of a playoff spot, and they're really battling. I can maybe see, okay, well, he's inexperienced and, high pressure moments, all that. You want veterans like Chara and Green. But they're 17 points out of a playoff spot. I mean, they're likely not going to make the playoffs. Like, what does it matter? Leave the guy in. He was getting comfortable. He was feeling good about himself, and he helps the team. So round for days on this one, and I'm really upset that he's not playing right now.
Phil.
Yeah, I answered this earlier on when I was talking about him. It's definitely around. There's nothing I can say that bad about his play, despite how bad their season has been. And some of the guys that are getting minutes for them on defense, Robin Salo has excelled and stood out. So yeah, round.
Make it a clean sweep, guys. It's a round as well. If there's any blessing that came out of the Islanders in their COVID, Robin Salo got some playing time, and he's looked very good, not out of place. So they should be playing him a lot more. And since the timer's still going, Jack Hughes should move to wing for now. I'm going to start this one, and I'm going to buy everybody around on this because Jack Hughes has got a 29% win percentage. I said before about Alexander Georgiev about a month and a half ago when he had like an 838 save percentage. The only way to do that is if you're trying not to stop the puck. Well, if a 29% win percentage on faceoffs, you're not even taking faceoffs. Move to wing, let him take some pressure off of him, but they're going to need him to be the franchise center he needs to be. We can talk about Kakko for days, but Jack Hughes, take a little responsibility, give him some time, and then get him back to center. Anthony.
Shot. I think you got to leave him at center ice. His face-off percentage, yeah, it is what it is right now, but a lot of that goes into, this is for all intents and purposes, pretty much still a kid. A lot of face-offs involves like man strength, tying a guy up and, really battling, and he'll get there. He's young right now, but to take him out of center right now, I think could actually hurt his development. You don't want him playing. Listen, he's talented. I'm sure he could play defense if he had to, but don't put him on the wing. Leave him at his natural position. Devils aren't having any expectations to win right now anyway. So it's not like it's really killing them, his face-off percentage. Leave him there. He'll get better once he gets some man strength and gets more experience.
Phil.
Shot. Like Anthony said, and I thought about this for a little bit when I saw it because they have Nico Hischier, they have Dawson Mercer, Dawson Mercer is light years ahead developmentally from where I thought he'd be at this stage. So I'm going to have to eat my words on Dawson Mercer. But no, he's the most talented player on that team. He's the best player on that team. And again, face-offs are something that you learn with time. And if you're gonna take him out of there because he's gonna win face-offs, or he can't win face-offs, rather, it's gonna kill his confidence. There's no reason to do it. Just, you know what? The Devils don't really have anything to play for. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're not close. They're just let him learn. Just let him learn and develop. There's no pressure. So no, keep him there.
All right. Hey, maybe I'm wrong on that. The Florida Panthers scoring will translate in the playoffs. Anthony?
We all know that, it becomes harder to score in the playoffs. You literally have to fight for every inch of ice. So I think their goal scoring will take maybe a little bit of a hit in the playoffs for sure. But, I mean, man, this team they're really talented. I mean, you go Barkov, Huberdeau, Reinhart, Sam Bennett looks like the player we all thought he was going to be when he was drafted, which I didn't think. I wrote him off years ago. So I'll eat crow there. But Duclair, Carter Verhaeghe, Lundell. I mean, you talk about, call the trophy voting. I think he gets lost in the shuffle. He's been great.
Yeah.
Team's a juggernaut. They play with speed. So yeah, again, I think they may have to, fine tune their system a little bit in the playoffs, but I gotta go round.
Wow. All right. That's big news. Phil.
I'm going to say beer. The reason why I'm going to say beer is because you're using the word translate, and the stat that you just had up before, you said 43% of their games they have 5 or more goals in. That's not going to happen in the playoffs. But 3+ goals a game in the playoffs, that's more than possible for a team with that much firepower. So I got to go beer here because I could definitely see them in the first 2 rounds absolutely just destroying whoever they face if they're any bit loose defensively. So, yeah.
I'm going to go beer as well. The reason why is because, yes, it's going to get tougher defensively, but their goaltending has been good, not great. And let's be honest, Bobrovsky's let in some softies in his time in Florida. So that can deflate a team, knock them off their mental game in the playoffs. So that could affect their offense as well. Hopefully it won't. But as Christina's saying right there. But also to add this in, the Florida Panthers have the most comeback wins in the NHL in the third period. That is ridiculous. And it's well over 10.
Yeah.
They just bludgeon you with offense. So
Yeah.
all right. Here's another one, and this is one we did talk about this a couple weeks ago, but now it's official, boys. Evander Kane will be a significant difference maker for the Oilers' playoff push. They got to go with the guy rolling his eyes already, John Filkowski.
You're saying significant difference maker? I'm gonna say shot. Will he help? Yes. But the way that you're making this sound by the wording makes it sounds like he's going to come in and be like a savior or something for them. And I just don't see it. As Jack is, Jack just wants me to sing the shot song. He wants me to go Little John again. So, I don't see him being a savior or anything like that because that's what it's making it sound like. So I'm going to say shot, but he can help.
Anthony.
I'm saying shot for the same reasons as Phil. This says significant difference maker, and that implies that he's gonna, put the Oilers over the top, or he's gonna come in and just tear it up. I don't see that happening. He's a big body who could score. He does add a physical presence, but so he'll help. But significant difference maker, no, shot.
I'm gonna go shot as well. And I'm going to use the word significant just the way you guys did, except I'm going to go with the most significant difference maker that they got, Koskinen. They're not going anywhere. Because
we're not talking about negative difference makers, Mark. We're talking about positive impacts. Koskinen, I know,
but I'm going to go with that one. That it doesn't matter what Kane does, and I think he's going to have
Gary Cohen. Remember when Gary Cohen called Daniel Murphy a net negative? That's Mikko Koskinen right there, buddy.
Well, then Daniel Murphy turned it around. I don't think Mikko Koskinen's doing that.
Exactly.
Boys, here's another one. I know he's been talked about a lot, especially over the last 2 months. But Carey Price will finish his career as a Montreal Canadian. Mr. LaRocco.
Buying everyone around. And it's because his contract status and how, he hasn't even played yet this year and he's getting older. I don't know what team is going to take on that contract considering everything around him right now. So I think they're going to have a hard time finding a taker. So for that reason and that reason alone, round.
Phil.
You were talking about having people that know their shit and taking away all of your things that you were going to say from your answer. Then, that basically just happened right there. So, you find me a team that'll take on that Carey Price contract, and I'll say something other than round. So,
you guys took all my answers that I could say. By the way, I got to put up the round for Phil. And then I got to put up a round for me. This was our old round. It didn't really come out that well. But I do have to say this. Didn't we just celebrate a goalie that played his entire career? Yes, that's right. With one team, and he was a well-paid goaltender. Well, they couldn't move the Henrik Lundqvist contract. Do you think they're moving a Carey Price contract at $2 million more per season? No, that ain't happening. All right. Here's a guy that needs to find himself again, and that is Elias Pettersson will return to form. Phil.
Yeah, I'm buying around on this because Elias Pettersson is too friggin' good to not return to form. I mean, this is a Calder winner through his first 2 seasons. He was a smidge under a point per game when Vancouver really wasn't as good offensively. Like Quinn Hughes was just, cutting his teeth into the NHL, and Elias Pettersson was still a dominant player on a team that lacked a lot of firepower. So yeah, he's going to turn it around.
Anthony?
Round. He's too talented. His shot is, for my money, top 10 in the league with his release. He's just too good. And ever since he went on that slump where I think he hadn't scored like in 9 or 10 games, ridiculous like that. The next couple of games, he went off and, scored goals in multiple games. I think he's up to 11 goals. So yeah, I'm not worried about him, nor should any Canuck fan. He'll be fine.
We're going to make it a clean sweep again, guys. I'm going to buy everybody around. I'm going to go with that. He's trying to justify his brand new extension that's coming, or the new contract, I should say. And you got Bruce Boudreau. Everybody gets better under Bruce Boudreau. Not many people get worse. So we're going to move on. We got a couple more. The new All-Star format will be the most entertaining ever. And if you haven't seen some of the pictures that came out this week about it, you got the blackjack for the shooting competition, and then you have the fountain at the Bellagio. And, boys, I'm going to buy everybody around on this one. I'm going to start this one off. They need to do more stuff like this. Incorporate what the host city is and get the skills out there. So that's my answer. Anthony.
Yeah, I'm going to go round. It's about time they become a little innovative with what they're doing here. No better stage in Vegas to do it on. And even like the new wrinkle where like Trevor Zegras isn't in the All-Star game, but he's been invited to take part in like the skills breakaway challenge and, really show off the talent this league has to offer. They're doing it right. So round for sure.
Phil.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with this. Mark and I are actually going, so you'll have content from us or a little content from us, I should say, from the weekend. But
I wish it was all 3 of us.
Yeah, wish Anthony was coming with us, but we want to do some content there, and I can't wait to see what this stuff is all about. For some reason I've got I don't know if you guys remember the Dude Perfect videos with Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan, where they were doing all those crazy trick shots and stuff like that. That's pretty much what's coming into my head right now, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, we're going to stick with the All-Star game and say the NHL should actually change the All-Stars format. Anthony?
Playoff.
Oh, sorry, the playoff. You idiot. You know what? No, let's stick with this one. The NHL should change the playoff format. Anthony.
We kind of talked about
Yeah.
should?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I think they will, then yeah, I would say round, because I think they are. I think they're going to follow suit with some other sports and try to get some more teams involved and generate more
That's
revenue.
your opinion. Should they?
Yeah, but should they? No. I mean, the only thing I'll say is I kind of wish they would go back to the old 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. That's the only thing I'll say. I like that. But I don't have a huge issue with what it is right now. But yeah, I prefer they went back to that format. But so I don't know. I guess beer.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we'll go with beer on that one. I threw a shot when you said no. But Phil, the NHL should change the playoff format.
Go back to 1 versus 8. I'm buying around on that because the 1 versus 8 were the best. You brewed up a bunch of rivalries than you ever would have thought you had that way, and it's so much better.
I'm gonna go beer because I'm not sure, guys. I'm not sure because I don't think there's a perfect playoff format, especially now with the league. If you're making the playoffs, you're a good team. It doesn't matter. There are no pushovers. So I think they should probably stick to where it is. Definitely no wild cards. Definitely no play-in tournament or any crap like that.
Hell no.
But, I think you should just keep it the way it is. And I know people want to bitch about what was it that they wanted to bitch? I forgot now. But, they want to bitch about the divisional format. Wow, I can't believe that slipped my mind. Bitch about the divisional format. Oh, this division's weak. This division's stronger. Who cares?
Steven is talking about a 1 through 16 league wide with a 2-3-2 schedule for the playoffs, like in '79.
No, I understand why, and I know some people like that one, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to work because of the fact that it's bad logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because then there's a lot of traveling and stuff like that, and it creates more cost, more expenses for the league, and the scheduling and everything like that just becomes far more complicated. So
let me throw this one out there for you guys. Let's say they go to 1 through 16. The Florida Panthers win the President's Trophy, and the Seattle Kraken or the Vancouver Canucks make it. Now, Florida has to go to Seattle in the first round, or
that's
Vancouver.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Travel's a big thing, and we talked about that several different times about the '94 Rangers. So that they didn't see a plane for 3 months. So there was 2 months, I should say. That was a good thing.
Yeah.
Just want to kill that timer. And guys, one more for you. It's a quickie. And Anthony, Mark went from 6 to midnight at the thought of Chris Kreider scoring 50 goals.
Round. I think you might have to I think you might have to go see a doctor because you've had an erection longer than 6 hours.
Oh,
Silk.
It's funny because someone posted an anti-horny meme on Twitter and saying, "This is what I need after a Rangers win." And I said, "A Rangers win is like popping a Cialis." So yeah, where Mark is gonna have to see a doctor because he's still going.
Believe it or not, just beer.
Oh God, get out of here!
Now, okay. Now, are we talking about that? It's recently that I thought about this. Like he scored last night. When he scored 30, I went, "That's the number. He's there." Is the possibility of him scoring 50 there? Yeah, but I needed him to score 30 first.
Well, I'm talking the last night after he got 33, and you realize he's only 17 away from 50 with 34 games to go.
34 games to go. He's just got to get
a goal every other game.
One goal every other game, and he's there. You want to talk about what really might get me going, and I'm going to buy around on this. Chris Kreider for the Rockets. No, I mean buy around. There it is. Chris Kreider for the Rocket Trophy. I think Chris Kreider might win it.
He might. I mean, he's definitely going to be amongst the contenders for it. And Mark, speaking of 50 goals, I got to turn the tables on you. A trivia question. I mean, asking you who the last Ranger to score 50 would be too easy for you. So I'll ask you, who was the last Islander to score 50 goals? What year, player, and how many?
I know the answer. I know it. I know the exact number, and I know the year.
See, it's not Zygmunt Palffy.
Came close. He had like a 48 goal a year.
48, 96.
Correct. I think that was 96.
Yeah.
The guy that I think it was is your boy, Pierre Turgeon.
Correct.
That was 93.
93, yep.
When he had 132 points.
He did.
Yep.
And he was amazing that year. I still can't believe that's the last Islander to score 50. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, Palffy then came the closest after him, and then
You know,
And then the only other
Islanders turned out some 30 goal scorers around that time. And at a time, the Rangers were not churning out 30 goal scorers. I think because after they dealt Palffy, they got Mariusz Czerkowski to score 30.
Yeah, Mariusz Czerkowski had back-to-back 30-goal years in 2000 and 2001.
Did he have 35?
35 in 2000. Yeah, he had 35 goals, 35 assists, 70 points in 2000.
Yeah, it's when he was married to the Bond girl from GoldenEye.
Yeah. And then since then, Jason Blake had a 40-goal year. Anders Lee had a 40-goal year.
Yeah, and those are the only two 40 guys they've had since.
Yeah, Grabner came close. He had 34 in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this one. Phil, who was the only Ranger between Eric Lindros and Peter Pruka to have a 30-goal season?
All right, so between Eric Lindros in 2001, 2002, and Peter Pruka in 2000. Let's see here. No, there wasn't anybody.
Radek Dvorak.
No, that was 2000, 2001.
Damn it, then I fucked up that question.
Yeah, because the other thing I was going to say was if you're talking about players who joined the Rangers and finished the season midway, you could say Pavel Bure and Jaromir Jagr and Alexei Kovalov, but they started their seasons with other teams.
And Pittsburgh and Florida and Washington, respectively.
Yeah.
By the way, make sure you get all your numbers right before you ask it on a live streaming broadcast.
Yeah, Dvorak's was 2000, 2001. That was the checkmates line. It was him, Nedved, and Hlavich. And Dvorak had the 4-goal game against the Islanders later on in that season.
Yep. And that was back when Rick DiPietro wore number 1.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
By the way, guys, leave us a like, share, and subscribe. Do you think at least no Justin Huberdeau reference today? No.
You brought up Rick DiPietro. You brought up Rick DiPietro. I have a funny quick story about Rick DiPietro. It was the 2004 draft. Me and my friend Mike, we went to Mike Collier, in case you're wondering, Phil, when I said Mike.
Oh, God, Collier.
We went to Jillian's. It's like a Dave & Buster's type place. They had the draft party there.
Yeah.
And Rick DiPietro was signing autographs there. And there was this girl that was going that was an Islander fan. And when we got up to the line, my friend Mike liked this girl. So he leaned into Rick DiPietro and he's like, "Hey, Rick, there's a girl in line. Her name's Sam. I really like her. Could you put in the good word for me?"
Oh, God.
And
I know what you're talking about, too.
And then Rick was like, and then we know he did it because afterwards, he asked her, did Rick say anything to you? And she said, yeah, Rick said to me, he's like, there's a guy, Mike, that I saw, he really likes you. He's a nice guy. So he did what my friend Mike asked him to do. But that was way back when he was jacked up and everyone had such high hopes.
Anthony, Sam B.
What?
Sam B.
H.
Oh my God! Okay.
You're talking about Bill Wolf's ex. That's the one you're thinking of.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
I just want to mention I used to have a segment.
Games, that's why.
That we used to do on this called Mark's Weekly Trivia. Look, some people make mistakes. My father made one 44 years ago. This is, I try to make sure it's all there. So, but yeah, usually I got that. Yes, Rick DiPietro, the worst goalie fight ever. Oh,
very, very good sports guy. Like he is on the radio is talking about the Jets and how he's great.
I love Rick on the radio.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, you know what helps with him on the radio? He's possibly the second most self-reflective athlete I think I've ever heard, and number one being Mike Tyson. went, well, Allie, I don't even know what I was thinking back then. But I mean, Rick DiPietro, he'll rip himself plenty, and he was very good.
Yeah. You talk about a guy who was cursed. I remember when he was going through all his injuries and whatnot, there was like towards the end of his career when he was still trying to come back, there was an article in Newsday, like his dog like ran out and got hit by a car. And it's like, really, like the guy's made of glass. He always gets hurt. And then like guy's dog gets hit by a car. He had the worst luck. He really did. The worst luck.
Yeah. He, you know what? It's funny because I couldn't stand like him as a player, but just as a radio host, he's perfect for it. He's literally perfect. Yeah, this is great. Oh my God, yeah, and yeah, we really have to do this? If you end up getting married, that's gonna happen.
Yeah, first thing I have to find is a girl that's crazy enough to want to marry me.
You and I both, buddy. You and I both.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's yeah, and I think you need to have that kind of attitude. Like, I mean, after all, he was doing an All-Star game interview, mic'd up, tried to make a leg save, and
then hurt
actually
himself.
said on air, "I think I just pulled out my hip."
Yeah. And then he comes back. He comes back from that injury, and then the Beijing collision happens, and then that's basically like the downfall of his career.
Yeah, that started it. And I remember it clear as day. Sean Hill got Beijing blew by Sean Hill, who at that point was a traffic cone, and I don't know what Beijing is not a goal scorer. I don't know why DiPietro figured he had to go out and try to beat him to the puck. He should have just took the breakaway against them, but yeah. Knee to the head, and that was pretty much curtains after that.
I mean, after all, Mike Richter, it was a subtle knee to the head. That's what ended his career.
Yeah, that was Todd Marchant going through the crease.
Yeah.
It was actually that wasn't even the first one. The first part that really did him in, the start of it, was the Chris Tamer slap shot in February of 2002.
Yeah.
Off the side of the head.
It got side of the
head. Cracked his skull.
Yeah. That was it. So, but yeah, I'll tell you right now, it's sad the way that some of these things happen, but I got to tell you, I listened to Rick on the radio and stuff like that. And one time he was just joking about how like the punch that really like knocked him out and really ended it all, like from Brent Johnson. He was just like, yeah, I totally underestimated that guy, and he ended up knocking my lights out and ended my career. And like the attitude that he had towards it was just like, it was cool. It was just like, you know what, this is a guy that's found peace, and good for him, because I never saw him in that good guy light as a player. Like, it was always like, you know what, you're an Islander. That's going to be it. And I'm just going to think of you differently. And he got heated. And I was there when he went to go challenge Mike Dunham to a fight. And that was another thing he talked about on the radio where I laughed. He was like, I skated out to the middle of the crease, and I was at that game with a bunch of friends. And we got moved down thanks to somebody that I played hockey with that was very high up in Madison Square Garden at the time. But we moved us down, saw that fight, and Rick talked about it and said, he was like, yeah, I went out there, but I was like, this guy's like 6'3", 200 and something pounds. Probably could kick my ass. And I laughed because that's what I was thinking. I was like, what is DiPietro out there doing trying to challenge Mike Dunham to a fight?
Do you remember when he fought Al Montoya in the preseason game?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He
insane. By the way, we did have one more topic, and this was in honor of the Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Who'd have thought you'd ever say those words ever again? Or in your case, I'm not sure if you guys have ever said those words, but what long-suffering fan bases deserve a playoff run? And we're starting with hockey before we think of any other sports.
So here's the thing with this question. It comes to, like, for instance, like the Coyotes, they haven't done shit. So but when you're talking about what fans like deserve it, you're
Right.
Obviously their fan base isn't anything that really, so they're kind of out, but that makes it a little tough, like a little harder. So I guess I gotta, as much as I hate to say it, I guess I gotta go the Maple Leafs because they have a passionate fan base, and they haven't done really anything in a long time. So yeah, I would say
Even though Anthony, we have this.
He was yeah, no, I get it. They're really, I know they're insufferable. I think everybody wants to play there. They think they're God's gift and all that, but
El's on a roll today. I love this.
Realistically, you know what? He was Elsie was at the Coliseum with me, and I think you might have been there too when they drafted Tavares on
Elsie wasn't there with us. That was
you and
Wolf.
I thought Elsie was there.
No,
I'm sure he'll chime in if he was, but I
remember that day very well. It was not Elsie. It was me, you, and Wolf.
Bill Wolf. Why was Bill Wolf there? I wouldn't have never thought that.
Wolf met up with us. I remember, and I know we went to Hooters afterwards. So Wolf was definitely with us.
But yeah, the Leafs. I mean, again, he just confirmed it. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, them. I mean, it's got to be the Leafs. I mean, if you took out like the deserves, I would say like the Coyotes because they never won and anything like that. But I gotta go the Maple Leafs. I would even say the Panthers, but again, they're not really exactly a rabid hockey crazed fan base that's been dying for one. But as an organization as a whole, the Panthers too. But yeah, Phil, go ahead. But yeah, Leafs for me.
The Leafs have got to be pretty much at the top if we're talking about a long-suffering fan base. The Buffalo Sabres would be probably my number two, because they've been in the league for 50 years now. They made it to 2 finals, lost both of them. Philadelphia in '74, and then
come on,
no, Philadelphia in '75, and then in '99 against Dallas. With the Hasek and the Brett Hull, it's a goal, stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say if anything, yeah, Buffalo's got to be my number 2. There's a
Coco, by the way, I'm definitely coming back to your comment after we're done with this segment.
Yeah. So I would have to say. Yeah, but Elsie's right here. Buffalo, if they change ownership because they just treat their players like crap, I totally agree with it. We've gone over that.
Oh, Anthony, by the way, my answer was going to be the Florida Panthers because now they're starting to sell out. I mean, it's a bit of a front runner city, but I went to the Rangers-Panthers game 4 years ago.
But when you say long-suffering fan base, I think of like a fan base that's really engaged and really truly cares and has been just had nothing go right for them. Florida, they don't really fit that description with their fan base. That's why I really didn't.
I think the problem is that they're not vocal.
Florida. Huh?
I think the problem is that they're not vocal. They just, if there's a problem, they end up going and just following football or talking or listening to college football, maybe even taking in a couple Miami Heat games. They certainly don't see the Marlins.
Now, here's the thing. I just want to like have you elaborate on this. Like, are we talking a championship or just a long playoff run?
A long playoff run, because after all, the Islanders and their fans kind of deserved it the last couple of years, and they've been sensational. I mean, obviously, this year is not their best. Anthony's had more time to watch hockey than we have.
Greg is saying Vancouver.
I think that's a good choice too.
But they had a run to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2011, and they've been in the playoffs. Not long, deep runs after 2011, but they've been in the playoffs.
What about Philly?
Philly went to the finals in 2010.
That's still a long time. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
That's 12 years now.
12 years.
Yeah, Philly's still a bit of a yo-yo, going up and down. Like there was, wasn't it like for the last 6 years they missed the playoffs, make the playoffs, miss the playoffs, make the playoffs.
Yeah, Florida would be up there. Arizona for me because of the fact that they just have not had any. They made it to the conference finals once in their team history in 2012. That's it. So the Rangers. We had that Stanley Cup final run in 2014, Eastern Conference Finals in 2012 and 15. So, I mean,
what about Minnesota and Columbus?
Minnesota's another one. Minnesota has not. Minnesota, they had
the Wild
one conference final appearance in 2003, and they lost to Anaheim.
And they're a good hockey market.
And they are a diehard hockey market.
Yeah,
that's called the state of hockey for a reason. So.
And what about the Detroit Red Wings trying to get back?
You know what? They made the playoffs 26 years in a row, whatever it was. Everyone will feel so bad.
I'm not worried about them.
So the long suffering would definitely be removed from that.
But what about Columbus? Columbus has never really had any sort of playoff.
Columbus won one playoff series in 2019, and that's it. So Columbus could be, and they've been in the league for 20 years now.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And then we're still not even including the Winnipeg Jets, who they made it.
Yeah, but they had a conference finals appearance in 2018.
Lost to Gerard Gallant and the Vegas Golden Knights.
He's right about with Arizona kind of shifting back to them. You know what's funny to me is that the league is apparently okay for them playing in a 5,000 seat arena for 3 to 4 years, but yet Bettman had such an issue with the Islanders not being allowed to play in the Coliseum anymore after the renovations when it went from 16,000 to 13,000. That was too small for NHL standards. That wasn't okay, but he's okay with an NHL team playing in an arena that holds 5,000 people for 3 to 4 years. That doesn't make any. It's hypocritical. It doesn't make any sort of sense to me.
I think also with that, I think he was trying to campaign for a bigger arena in New York and not just a 14,000 seater, 13,000 seater.
No, I get it, but it's like, and not only that,
and you're right.
The guy is clearly fighting like hell to keep Arizona there, but yet where was the fighting to keep Quebec in Quebec, or where was the fighting to keep?
Yeah, I get that.
In Hartford.
I'm totally with you on the Quebec thing, especially because their market is good, and the Battle of Quebec was always a real good series that always drew big money. But the Canadian dollar was back then.
But the Whalers, he had an issue with the Whalers playing in the old Civic Center. They couldn't play there, but the Coyotes again can play in a 5,000 seat arena. I mean, I know times are different than they are back then and now, but it just seems like he's putting a whole lot of fight into keeping them there while he let, I think, other teams leave without putting up as much of a fight who had bigger or better, arena situations.
Yeah.
Now, just branching this out just for about 2 more minutes, guys. What fan bases in other leagues would you want to see them get either a run to a championship game or a deep playoff run?
Lions.
Gotta go Lions.
Yeah, it's got to be the Lions in the NFL. They're another. Yeah.
They've won one playoff game since. Geez, actually, I think it's like 1960.
What?
It was in 1991.
You cut out there. I just missed.
The Lions have won only like one playoff game since 1960 something.
I think it was 91 versus the Cowboys. I watched that game.
Yeah, it's got to be it's got to be the Lions. The Browns.
Yeah.
I mean,
Browns
I would actually love to see the Pittsburgh Pirates make a run at something. Like, I always love that organization and that franchise. It's just they're a small market team. They're always going to be that forever.
I mean, for a while it was the Royals, but they've had success over the last couple of years. So it's really Yeah,
I can't root for anything for the Marlins, even though I would say the Marlins would probably be near the top of that list.
Tampa
I
Bay has
haven't-
made their runs.
I haven't liked the Marlins since 2003.
No, I haven't liked the Marlins since 2003 either. And I couldn't stand Jeffrey Loria as an owner. I thought he was an asshole, and he was a big reason as to why the MLB's revenue sharing program was failing, and they were continuing to put up luxury taxes higher and higher every year. It's not the New York Yankees. It's pickpocketing owners like Jeffrey Loria, who took all the revenue sharing money and pocketed it. So the Cincinnati Reds are, David,
it's a good one.
That's a good one. 1990 was the last one.
91, Lou Piniella.
How about, I'll just throw this one out for basketball. Sacramento Kings. They're going to be a bottom feeder forever.
Oh, I don't even have to leave New York for basketball. The New York Knicks.
That is true too. It's just.
I'm a Knicks fan. I would love to see the last good playoff run I got to see from the Knicks was 1999 when they made it to the NBA Finals, and Tim Duncan and David Robinson ruined the second shot I had at seeing an NBA championship in my lifetime.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you basketball. I think the last time I followed basketball, Stephon Marbury was on the Timberwolves. I have no appetite for it, so I couldn't really tell you which teams have even struggled. I don't.
I know all the teams have struggled. I haven't had the appetite for basketball since 1995 either. Which, by the way, I've said this over and over again. I've said this story. Patrick Ewing. Wait, let me get back. The Rangers were up 2-0 over the Flyers. I switched to Game 7 of the Knicks versus Pacers. Patrick Ewing missed the layup, the lay-in, and it rolled out. And I flipped back to the Ranger game. John LeClaire scored his first of 3 goals in Game 1 of 1995. En route to the Rangers losing, even though they would tie that game, I think, on a Pat Verbeek goal in the last minute. Eric Desjardins scoring and on to the sweep. So I still think it was karma that the Knicks lost and then the Rangers folded. But hey, so what other fan bases would you guys like to see win a championship or at least make a deep playoff run? Throw it all down in the comments below. And we could take maybe 1 or 2 questions. I have almost no battery left, guys. I do have to throw this one up from what Coco said. Did you hear Brian Boucher kill Kreider, saying something effective that he didn't have the hockey IQ to be this good? Phil, this is what you've always said about him.
He's not wrong in a way because of the fact that Kreider's hockey IQ was very suspect when he first came up. He was a very one-dimensional player. He was a guy who got a lot of goals and points off of bank passes off the boards from Derek Stepan. And that worked for a little bit. Teams figured that out. Then he added a net front element to his game in the last 5-6 years. And then he added an off the puck element, like a defensive element. He's gotten better defensively in the last few years. But the biggest thing always with him has just been consistently. He was the most consistently inconsistent player I've ever seen in my life. On a night-to-night basis, you would get the most inconsistent efforts. One night he would look like a beast, the next he was invisible. And that was always my thing. And I always said that if he could ever put it together, he would be a guy that would score 30 plus goals a year. I don't know if it's the fact that he wants the center, if he wants the captaincy, if it's just Gallant finally getting through to him. But Chris Kreider has improved every asset of his game possible. He's about a point per game player right now. I never thought that this would be. If you would have told me in 2009, and I watched the draft with Anthony that day. I was with Anthony, and we watched the rest of the draft from the Hooters in Islandia, and they took Chris Kreider. And, I said to myself, I was like, this guy reminds me of someone like Tony Amonte with more size, because he's just got that speed. He's got a dynamic element to his game, and he could be a real good goal scorer. So I said, 30-30-60 would be what I would want from Kreider. But this year, he could be 40, 40, 80 possibly. So
I think the 1-3-1, he tried to be that net front presence. Like Ranger fans wanted him to be Adam Graves, stand in front of the net, block the goal, he tip the puck. Since they've kind of been doing the 1-3-1, I think exclusively under. Well, they've done it for years anyway, but I mean, it's basically what the norm is for the NHL now. Although I don't think the Islanders play a true 1-3-1 anyway. But the point I was trying to make is now Kreider moves around front of the net, side of the net, and they have set plays for him to deflect the puck. And it's his game is on a whole new level. And yeah, I think Gerard Gallant has something to do with that.
I mean, look, sometimes a coach come and it could just click for a player. I mean, Phil can attest to he was never a big fan of Brock Nelson. And look what happened when Barry Trotz came. Nelson turned from a guy who scored 20 goals because of his shot, but really leave you wanting more in every other aspect of the game.
One small correction I'll make there. I was a fan of Brock Nelson in North Dakota.
North Dakota.
I was a fan of him then. And when he went to the Islanders and he loafed around, I said that this guy is never going to be anything more than a 20-20-40 because he just doesn't give you the efforts on a night-to-night basis. And then, like you said, Barry Trotz came along and something changed.
He's a bit of an example also of addition by subtraction. You removed John Tavares from that team. It gave Brock Nelson a different role, and he's taken off since then.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely got more of a role.
I think it has more to do with Trotz.
Oh, I agree with you. And then when they add on JG Pajot, oof. He's been fantastic.
The point is, sometimes it just takes maybe a coach believing in you, and you just feel like you have a guy that has your back and wants to see you succeed. And sometimes it just clicks. So good for Kreider. I mean, he's definitely having a career year. So we'll see how if he get to 50 or 45 or whatever it is. The key will be next season. He's going to have a microscope on him. People are going to be watching him and see if he's going to replicate it.
You know what? I don't think the microscope really isn't even an issue here because of the fact that he's been under scrutiny for years for, his net front play. Everybody's known that he's been a net front guy for a while. It's just, it's the efforts. That's going to be the big thing for me. Is he going to come out next year and give you these efforts on and off the puck every night like he's doing this year? That's my biggest question. So,
by the way, Rich, I would love to see the Dolphins win. That ain't happening any day soon. But
yeah, I'll take that one. I think for me, the odds are pretty low. I don't think you're going to see much activity over the break.
No.
When the trade deadline's March something.
March 21st, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you'll start seeing moves until the calendar flips to March. So odds really low.
That's the way it usually is because they're always going to do the the salary cap is the most that's going to be right there. I'd be shocked if some guys make a move early. Lou usually does that, but
yeah, like I said, I wouldn't expect that this year unless they really, like you said, got within like striking distance of a playoff spot. I mean, is it possible he makes a trade with eyes like, for a player he knows it's going to be part of the future for like next year moving forward, and if he gets a good deal, he's going to get ahead of it? I mean, yeah, that's possible, but you're not going to see any sort of rental trade from Big Lou this time around. But speaking of rental trades, so Kyle Palmieri has 1 goal in 15 games. It was interesting because a lot of people, including myself, said, which I wish they kept, Seattle took Bailey over Eberle, and I still wish the Islanders had Eberle, don't get me wrong. But after his start, Jordan Eberle only has 1 goal in 20 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a big part of that is the fact that Seattle, they don't have the ability to finish games. They a lot of their games are just low-scoring games. I think if Jordan Eberle was playing on a team where he had more offensive weapons around him and they played a little more of a free-flowing game than what they play in Seattle, I think you would see Jordan Eberle with bigger numbers. I really do.
And I'm also still not convinced Dave Haxtell is an NHL head coach, but
yeah, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of him. I like him as a college coach. I thought he was awesome with North Dakota. I don't know. I think there's just too much micromanagement from there are things that remind me of Quinn with him, and I don't like it. Although I think he's a much better coach than Quinn.
easily.
I will give him credit though for the roster that he has and the fact that Seattle is always in every game that they play, especially to the very end. All their games are close. They don't get blown out in many games, Seattle. So I got to give Haxtell some credit there.
Phil, what about this one? Do you think they're going to keep Hedl at the wing, or do you think they're going to end up moving him? I think he's gone.
I think he's gone. I don't know if it's before the deadline or not. It depends on the right deal comes along. If they want to pull the deal on Jacob Chychrun, cool. I really think that Jacob Chychrun, if you bring him in and you're not giving up Braden Schneider or Zach Jones or something like that, let's just say it's Vitaly Krasov, Nils Lundqvist in the first, and you're getting Jacob Chychrun to come in there and your top 4 and you're moving Keandre Miller down and your bottom pairing is Miller and Schneider when Chychrun and Trouba are your second pairing with Fox and Lindgren, you're looking at a real great.
Yeah, I don't see the Jacob Chychrun thing. I don't see it.
You don't see it as in with with the Rangers getting him, or you don't see it as in you don't like him as a player?
No, I don't see it as the Rangers getting him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that I don't know. I think the Rangers would be better served using their assets to go
to forward.
Yeah, to go to forward. I don't think Chychrun is a necessity.
Again, just imagine this team finds a third line center.
I think
match up against the other team's top line. Why were the Islanders so good? I keep going to this. They win the center matchup. They did that for 2 years. They haven't done as much this year, but
I think Chychrun is a perfect fit for Boston. I think he'd be a perfect fit for LA. LA boys. Another team that I think everyone kind of trashed beginning of the year. They're within shouting distance of winning the division. Same with Anaheim. They're not that far behind Vegas. So if LA got Jacob Chychrun, and they have a lot of pieces they could get, the Arizona could be attracted to. They're not going to get Byfield, but they could probably a Turcotte from LA. LA has pieces that Arizona would be interested in.
Yeah, I know, and I get I see the comments here. I don't see Chychrun. I don't see Chychrun being so great that he's worth that type of assets.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I get it. Last year is going to be an offensive outlier for him, and he's not going to give the type of production that he wants, or that you would want from him in New York, because he's not going to get those power play minutes. But I do think he would help shore up the Rangers' top 4 big time, and that's why I could possibly see it. I just don't know if the Rangers want to give up assets. I know that Dan Rosen said in an article, I think it was yesterday, that the Rangers should be in on Pavelski. I do agree with Jack. He is a luxury, not a necessity. But if the price is right, then you pull the trigger. Kravtsov, Miller, Hedl, and pick for Rupe Hintz. I would love that, but Dallas ain't doing that.
Yeah, they have no one to trade Hintz.
They're not trading Rupe Hintz. That's a wet dream for Ranger fans.
They're not moving him, or they're not moving Jason Robertson.
No,
they're not moving any of those.
No, they're not moving any of those guys.
No, they'll retain 50% on Sagan and Ben for the rest of their contract. Those guys.
Yeah, so those guys and Gurrianov, those are their guys going forward. They're not
Thomas Harley.
Yes.
Rich, I'm with you on this. Giordano for me. Yeah. if I could find a combo package to get Giordano and McCann out of Seattle, and it doesn't cost like an insane amount, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And Jared McCann, the price is going to go up for him because he's got almost 20 goals already.
Yeah, he's been one of the best players.
I never thought like it would be like that, but
yeah,
I mean, his production will go down because he's going to be getting lesser minutes wherever he goes. So, but you got a middle six guy that could score you 20, 25 goals, forget about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly,
Unfortunately, my batteries weren't running out. Do you guys got more time, or you want to just go on without me for a little bit?
no, I mean,
Nah, because I got a hockey game at 9, so I want to start relaxing and getting some stuff ready and do dinner and stuff before I go. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always love doing it with these guys, especially with you guys. You guys are always great for the questions and everything. I think the idea third line center and like a Mark Giordano, but Giordano's gonna cost a pretty penny everywhere. There's already the rumors of him going right back to Calgary. So
yeah, I saw that too.
yeah, that's possible.
like that's actual like not like Larry Brooks.
That's a distinct possibility. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
Yeah. So
as long as they don't go paying a first round pick for Ben Sherratt, I'm okay with adding a defenseman.
Apparently, Jeff Petrie could be moved by Montreal, so that come out in the last day or two.
I don't think the Rangers could fit him though, because I think he's got quite a bit left of term on his deal. Yeah, he's got 3 years left at $6.25 million after this.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean,
luxury. Adam Fox is healthy. What are you doing with him?
Yeah, he's a right side defender too, so that's he's not going to play the left side.
You know, I never really thought much of him, Petrie, but over the last couple of years, I kind of changed my opinion of him with his play in Montreal.
He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
If Josh Manson played the left side, I would ask Anaheim about what would cost to get him. I know you mentioned Hampus Lindholm for the Islanders a while ago, but that's probably not happening now.
No, Anaheim, if anything, will add. I don't think they're going to get rid of any pieces.
No. Yeah. Lawson Krause would be nice. He's a right wing, by the way, Gene. So.
And that would fit very nice. But guys, by the way, so check out, we're going to have the best hockey video games of all time. And then we're also going to have next week, one of our discussion topics is going to be hockey couples. Or pairings, if you will. I already know one pairing I can't wait to say. Duos. So I can't wait. It's the pairing made in heaven for hockey fans. But also duos, obviously, like Ovechkin and Backstrom and that fan. You guys like that Mass Mutual commercial?
Bore and McGillney.
Oh boy. Oh, that was unique for several reasons. All right, but we're going to sign it off here, guys. Thank you very much for joining us again, and it's always great when you can recommend us. Like, share, and subscribe our stuff, and we're also going to put up the interview with Tara Fitzgerald and for the glove drop. If you haven't subscribed to her, do that, and hopefully if you did subscribe to her and you got that, subscribe to us. So we will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. And, well, let's go Rangers in 2 weeks. Anthony, you get to watch a game again tonight.
Yeah, let's go Islanders, baby. Let's see Trash Wallstrom after the game for no reason again.
Oh, by the way, here's a good one. Ron Gresher and Carol Alt. Guys, thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Take care, everybody. Let's go Rangers.